Russia snubbed from attending commemorative World War II victory events in France, ambassador says.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian ambassador to France Alexei Meshkov said on Friday that his country had been snubbed from participating in commemorative World War II victory events in France slated to be held on Sunday, Russian news agency TASS reported. On May 8, France will traditionally hold celebrations dedicated to the victory in World War II. Ambassadors and military attaches, first of the Soviet Union, then Russia, Belarus as countries that made a decisive contribution to the victory over fascism, were always invited, he said, according to the news outlet. May 8 is known as Victory in Europe Day, marking Germany's surrender during World War II. A separate Victory Day is celebrated in Russia on May 9. There had been recent speculation that Russia would formally declare war on Ukraine on May 9, which Russia dismissed. Russia has not formally recognized their invasion into Ukraine, now in its third month, as anything other than a special military operation. That conflict in Ukraine has sparked international condemnation, leading nations around the world to isolate the country socially, politically and economically in retaliation, including being snubbed from global events such as France's World War II celebrations. During Sunday's events in Paris, a ceremony on the Champs-Élysées will be led by French President Emmanuel Macron, according to TASS.
This post received a score of 5,500, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Can't imagine why. They can attend WWII event and apologize.
It would appear that Russia using their military to attack a peaceful neighboring country? Torturing and murdering their neighbor's civilian population and abducting citizens of that neighboring country has consequences. Chief among them is being outcast from civil society by other neighboring nations. Really? What the fuck did Russia think was going to happen? Dumbshit second-rate thugs?
Greater than really, what the fuck did Russia think was going to happen? They thought it was going to be a repeat of Crimea, and were fully justified in believing that, since the entire world's reaction to it was essentially non-existent. They thought it was going to be a repeat of Crimea, and were fully justified in believing that, since the entire world's reaction to it was essentially non-existent. Let's hope we learn the lesson, yet again, that appeasement and failure to respond to aggression, simply leads to more wars.
What a shame. Those French can be so rude.
Don't worry, you will be invited to the ceremony marking the Ukrainian victory in the current war.
The USSR wasn't fighting to free Europe.
They get all high and mighty about their participation for a country that was one of the initial aggressors and held a victory parade with the Nazis after invading Poland.
Don't forget the fact that they would have been utterly defeated in 1941 by the direct admission of both Stalin and Khrushchev, without the aid of the United States. They had effectively already collapsed and were headed exactly the same direction as France, but were just barely propped up by Lend-Lease.
Which highlights how far Lend-Lease can go. The scale of the Lend-Lease program is damn hard to comprehend. The Soviets alone received 427,284 trucks, 6,303 combat vehicles, 7,000 tanks, 11,400 aircraft, 2,328 ambulances, 35,170 motorcycles, 1,977 locomotives, 11,075 cargo cars. For those trains, 4,478,116 units of tinned food, 53% of all of America's ammunition production capability, 57.8% of the Soviet Union's supply of aviation fuel, and several entire factories, which included machinery and the trainers to teach the Soviet workers how to operate them. Those trucks and trains meant that the Soviets were actually capable of keeping their industrial base and battlefield logistics running. This also freed up their own vehicle factories to be turned to tank production and the like.
American wealth is unfathomable in the annals of history. We still had enough to arm and supply our own military at the same time. It's also kind of a testament to our decay as a nation that even at one of the most dire times in our history economically we still managed to do this shit. Never mind build much of the important infrastructure we still use. I seriously don't even know if the US has the industrial capacity to pull off something like that anymore.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.